Hi guys, so we are going to experiment with making custom Photoshop patterns. Photoshop comes loaded with 2 or 3 patterns that you can use to apply pattern overlays to your layers. They're kind of boring, so I like to make my own. As they say, necessity is the mother of all invention, so there have been several times in which I have had to make my own. So we're going to start out today by creating our own a new layer by hitting Control-Shift-N and hit return. And then select your shape tool by hitting U or coming over here to your shape selector and dragging down to ellipse tool. Then you're going to click, drag, and hold Shift to create some circles. And today we're making a polka dot pattern. You can make whatever kind of pattern that you would like, but just for intents and purposes of this tutorial, we're going to do some polka dots. I am a blatant overuser of polka dots, which most graphic designers will probably cringe at. So sue me. Okay, so this is our layer. This is our pattern. We're going to go to Edit and select Define Pattern. It's going to bring up a dialog box. Name your pattern whatever you would like. Hit Enter. Over in this other tab here I have my proof document, as it were, where we're going to add our patterns so you can see how they came out. Double click on your layer and it'll bring up a dialog box where you can add your layer styles. You're going to go down to Pattern Overlay and click on it, and it will bring up by default whatever pattern is first in your pattern selection box. So you can click on the pattern box itself or the little arrow next to it, and you see I have a lot of patterns here. By default, if you have not added your own to Photoshop before, you'll just have these 3. All of these I have already created. So the one we just created is this one, and by default it shows up in the layer at 100% scale. You can change that by clicking and dragging on this slider, by clicking on the word scale and clicking and dragging, or you can enter your own number. So I'm going to enter 10%. And then you hit OK, and there's your pattern. It is as easy as that. Now, if I want my pattern to be black dots over this peach background instead of this white background, what you're going to want to do is make sure that your very bottom layer, or whatever layer is solid, is deselected like this. The reason that this now shows up transparent is each of these dots is on a transparent background. So make sure that any opaque layers are deselected like that. And go back to Edit, and same way. Click on Define Pattern, name our little pattern dots 2, back over to our proof layer, same as before, double click on the layer and click on Pattern Overlay on the left. Click on your selection box. Your newest pattern will always show up at the bottom, sort of the way you would read a book from left to right. And you'll see when I hit OK that now my pattern has a transparent background. And it's as easy as that. You know, now you can go on and add, create new patterns with different shapes. You make a star-shaped pattern, use different textures, and it will always tile like this. Your margins, whatever shapes are at the margins, will always show up. So if you're wanting to make perfectly tiled, seamless backgrounds, and you have shapes that run off the edge of the page like this, you're going to have to line all of your shapes up on the grid with each other exactly. Otherwise you'll end up with something that looks a little bit like this. You can see I messed up the alignment of those 2 dots, and what you get is patterns that look a little bit like this. You can see these, and actually that looks kind of cool, but it's definitely not a polka dot pattern. You can see I moved the dots and they don't line up correctly. anymore. So this is a lot of fun to do. There's absolutely no limit to the kinds of patterns that you can create with this, and I have had a ton of fun. If you would like to download some patterns that are already made, come check out my shop on Etsy. It's called JH Collaborative, and you can download, they're called .pat files, and essentially they're just these pre-made files that you can upload into Photoshop. So have fun, experiment, and if you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments or send me a message.